Here's the big lie we've been fed about eating habits. It's time for the truth. Nutrition is so confusing. And one of the biggest points of confusion spins around the concept of fasting, and more specifically, intermittent fasting. After watching this, you may or may not realize you've been holding yourself back by using this approach. You're not alone. Nearly 25% of U.S. adults have done intermittent fasting. That's as of 2020. That's 10 times the number of people with six packs. That's a lot. There's so many people who have done intermittent fasting and really gotten nowhere. Okay, but I lost weight. That's what you're going to tell me. Okay, that might be a fact. You are lighter. After thousands of students and millions of data points from all of the testing over the past 15 years, it's a long time, we have found that those who lose weight with intermittent fasting lose some fat, but also lose precious lean tissue made up of bone and muscle. Yes, the likelihood that when you fast, your longevity organ, your muscle, becomes smaller is very, very high. It's very likely that you will lose muscle, and muscle is the longevity organ. So be concerned about that. And your bones also can become frail in that process. So in that regard, you're potentially shortening your lifespan and your experience of life in the process. Food is powerful. I know it sounds kind of ridiculous coming out of my mouth. Food is what makes up everything in your body. It doesn't come from anywhere else. So be careful about what you put in your mouth and what you prevent from going into your mouth. So I know what you're thinking, by the way. I want to lose weight. I want to heal my gut. I want to just feel better. And I believe you. I believe that you definitely want those things. And as you've gone through intermittent fasting, you've gotten some of those things. But there are better ways of doing it that will do the same thing, meaning you'll get smaller, you might not get lighter, you'll definitely feel better, and you'll heal your gut at the same time, and will make you more beautiful and vibrant at any age instead of speeding up the aging process. You do not want to eat in such a way that speeds up the aging process. So if you're ready to take the next step in your health journey, go ahead and subscribe to our channel and join thousands of others who have already begun to tackle their health and fitness concerns just like you. And together, we can help build the knowledge and confidence to make smart and healthy decisions to achieve your goals. And I'll be right there with you doing all of the same things that I'm sharing with you here. So just like you, I've tried intermittent fasting, or maybe you haven't tried it yet and you're considering it. And I did it because it seemed like a good idea. The gut health thing was what it was enamoring to me. And I'd also done lots of dieting, and it seemed novel at the time. This was about a decade ago when people just started talking about it. I did it because I thought it would be fun. I thought it was new for sure, and I wanted to see the scale move. And I also fantasized about this concept of cellular autophagy happening. We'll talk about that in just a minute. So I get this question all the time. What do you think about intermittent fasting? My answer is, I think your goal is wrong. You're thinking that you want to do intermittent fasting because you want to get lighter, and that's not the right goal. So don't get lighter. Drop body fat and either add or maintain a little bit of muscle as per your preference. And by the way, putting muscle on is very, very difficult. So in my opinion, it's for your health to always be thinking about how you can possibly put muscle on, because you need it as you get older to face up to the challenges and the rigors of getting sick, things like cancer or heart disease or spending any length of time in a hospital. You need to have muscle. Here's something I want you to remember. You cannot have an optimal diet while fasting. If you want to really be healthy, you can't get there by fasting. But what about mTOR? That's the mechanistic target of rapamycin. It's a regulator of cell growth and metabolism, and fasting can help with that. Low protein diets can help with that. And all of that research is based on lots and lots of studies with lots and lots of mice. Not a lot of humans. There was a 2014 study done with some humans, but it was not extensive, and the quality of the research wasn't great. So most of the ideas behind mTOR, or the things that we believe to be true, are based on studies with mice. So for humans, it's still a questionable concept. And you can regulate mTOR with these tools instead of fasting. You can exercise. Yes, exercise will do the same thing. And that's why Peter Attia in part refers to exercise as the best longevity drug ever created. And cold plunges and saunas, regulating mTOR with fasting is already a relic of early leaders in longevity. So don't make the same mistake and go down that road. Put in the efforts elsewhere. Use your resources elsewhere. Exercise. It's nearly a panacea, kind of like sleep is. Next common question. What about cellular autophagy? That's a cellular maintenance mechanism by which the body removes dysfunctional cells. It's like the cleanup crew in your body. It does a lot. I mean, it even reduces inflammation. And just like mTOR, autophagy has lots and lots of mice studies and not good human data. And just like mTOR, you can help spur some more autophagy with exercise and improve your sleep and cold plunges and saunas. And actually, there's some nutrients as well that will help, like resveratrol and curcumin. And there are some compounds in green tea that can also help with cellular autophagy. And coffee. Coffee can help too. You don't have to cut back your protein and cause other health issues, or fast and cause other health issues to get mTOR and cellular autophagy. You can do these other things instead, like exercise and coffee and cold plunges and saunas, and they'll get you to the same exact spot with better research around that than those mice studies. So why not just eat less though? Because it seems like easier. You don't have to be as active when you eat less in contrast to, I don't know, like exercise. And the answer is because you will eventually get fatter, be less healthy overall. It adds potential for things like type 2 diabetes and obesity and all of the correlated diseases springing from those. So you're wondering why at this point. How is it that fasting can cause those things? The simple answer is you will not eat enough protein. I was on a panel recently, just last week, with an MD, and the doc, a great guy, used exactly those reasons for eating what he called a more conservative approach to protein. He actually cited David Sinclair, the OG of longevity. He also cited Peter Attia, who today, by the way, is anti-fasting for this very reason. You will not eat enough protein while you do it. So here are 3 top reasons it's so important for you to consume enough protein instead of fasting to get lighter. Don't get lighter. You get it? Don't get lighter. You're killing yourself unless you're obese. And then, then maybe you should get lighter. But even if you're obese, at Stark, and we see lots of obese people, roughly 42% of the adults that come into Stark, which is the same as a cross-section of the United States, are technically obese from a body fat standpoint. So even if you're obese, we still don't recommend you fast because you won't eat enough protein, because you need to eat enough protein if you're obese to drop that body fat. Because, number one, it's calorically expensive. You're going to use between 25 and 35% of the calories of the protein itself to break down and assimilate the protein. That means you burn calories just from eating it. It's like a fat loss drug. You know, there's no actual fat loss drug. There's just weight loss drugs that I know of. Maybe there's a fat loss drug. I don't think so. Protein, I would call protein a fat loss drug. Number 2, and protein is also very satiating. It's the most satiating macro you can eat. It's actually why it's called protein. Protein is a Greek word that means first. If you eat protein first, you will actually eat less of the other things after, the fats and the carbohydrates. So when you see a plate in front of you of food and there's a fillet of fish there, eat all the fish first, and then eat the potatoes, and then eat the fruit or the vegetables or whatever else is on the plate. And the third thing is that protein is made up of the building blocks necessary to build muscle. So via the process of muscle protein synthesis, by lifting weights and eating enough protein, you're going to add a little bit of muscle. And you want this, my female friend. Please add some muscle before it's too late. It's very, very hard to do it. Do it when you're younger and healthier and you can still exercise, you can still move. And by doing so, you'll increase the size of your metabolic engine just by adding a little bit of muscle. You go from an old 4-banger to a new 8-cylinder muscle. 8-cylinder muscle? 8-cylinder automobile engine. You'll become more insulin sensitive in that process, which means it'll become even easier to lose fat that you've struggled with so much to lose. So in summary, fasting prevents eating enough protein, so don't do it. And protein burns calories, protein causes you to eat less, and protein helps you build muscle to become more insulin sensitive. Do not fast, eat protein instead. Do not fast, eat protein instead. It will not only change your life, but will save you from the pain of getting older. And if you're into changing your life, for the better, of course, go make some burgers and then come back and watch this amazing video I created for you called The Wheel of Health. And the Wheel of Health is a philosophy that allows you to step back and take a look at your health in total and learn how your body actually works, how your body composition, for example, helps your mental well-being, and how your mental well-being affects your hormones and so on and so forth. They're all interrelated. So the video helps explain how that works. And then there's an accompanying PDF that lists every single metric we use to measure all 10 spokes on the wheel of health. And that will give you an insight on how you're doing in total and have you set priorities in what you need to pursue next to become optimally healthy.